So I ended up creating one of these off camera just to make sure that I could get everything the way I wanted to, so I could show you guys this process and make it a little faster, because it did take me a hot minute to figure out how to tie everything. I have not tied bows in a very long time. So I have these jingle bells that I picked up from Hobby Lobby. They were originally $6.99 and I got them 50% off. And then I have this hemp. Now I like hemp way better than I do the jute string because it's not as messy. And I picked this up at Walmart, but I will link some from Amazon down below for you. Then I have this yarn that I picked up from Walmart, and I have the beads that we painted earlier. So the cool thing about painting those beads is you're going to have a lot of them. You can make a lot of the bead ornaments, but you can also add them to other ornaments. So we have the beads. And the way that I decided to do the pattern was to have 2 beads and then a bell and then another bead. But you can totally do this however you want. But first, I strung the beads and the bell to the hemp. And then we're going to loop the hemp together. And I'm going to stick it through the little hole that's on the wooden bell. Now, if you cut the hemp at an angle, it'll string through a lot easier because you are stringing like 2 pieces of it together. But once I strung it through, I tied the top just like you would double knot your shoes. I kept it super simple. And if you wanted to, you see how on the one I created, you can see the knot at the top. That personally doesn't bother me, but if that bugs you, you can definitely rotate, like pull the string through and move your beads and your bell around. That way you can't see the knot. It would be lined up at the back. Nobody would be the wiser. I took 2 pieces of yarn to make the bow. I cut them both at the same length. Quick tip, cut these way longer than you think you're going to need to. I definitely should have cut them a little bit longer just for tying purposes. But we're going to tie these the same way you would do the loops on your shoes whenever you're tying your shoes. I keep things super simple. If you want to make a fancy bow, go for it. I'm not very good at making fancy bows. I can tie my shoes, and that's what we're doing here. So I just made the 2 like little bunny ears. I tied them together. Pull them really tight, and then the cool thing is you can go back and kind of adjust it a little bit. So you can pull the loops up to get them where you want them. You can pull the strings down at the bottom to make the loops the same size. You can cut the bottom of them if you want the strings to be the same length. That's entirely up to you. But just make some bows. You can also use ribbon for this if you wanted to. It's totally up to you, personal preference. And so then I'm going to take some hot glue. And I'm actually going to glue down one of the beads because I didn't want it to be all over the place. The jingle bell will still jing, so don't worry about that. I'm only gluing down one of the beads. And then I'm going to take the hot glue and we're going to glue down the bow. And here's how the jingle bell ornaments turned out. Oh my gosh, I love these so stinking much. I am definitely going to make more. These are so pretty. Now the next ornament we are going to make is a Christmas tree ornament. If I was to do this again, I would do it a little bit differently. I would take some stain and stain the trees and then take some white chalk paint to outline the edges. That'll all make sense here in just a minute. But the way that I did this time, I took that same Waverly chalk paint and white that we used earlier, and I painted both sides and the sides of these Christmas trees.
One thing, is there anything that you're missing? I will keep you warm as soon as you remove that snow. Whatever we do, we will be alright. These holiday wonders will open your mind. May all your wishes tonight come true. The love I lived, the dream I knew. This Christmas I only wanna be close to you.
I only did 3 out of the 5. I want to save the other 2 trees for a different project. But now I'm going to just take a black Sharpie marker and we are going to outline the star and the Christmas tree. And you will see that I messed this up pretty bad on the first time. Not bad, but I messed up the star and the top of the tree. The second time I was a little better, and by the third time I finally had it figured out. And I will go back in with paint and fix this because it will drive me bananas that it's that messed up. But anyways, I just went through with a Sharpie and I outlined the tree.
These holiday wonders will open your mind. May all your wishes tonight come true. The love I lived, the dream I knew. Well, I'm all for Christmas. It's a magical time full of kisses. Take a walk outside and tickle the snowman's nose. Moving nimbly, did you hear something from the chimney? I will keep you warm as soon as you remove that snow. Oh, whatever we do, we will be alright. These holiday wonders will open your mind. May all your wishes tonight come true.
So now we're going to write joy, holly, and believe on these trees with the Sharpie, but I totally messed up here. I did not start with my center letter of the word. Do as I say here, people. Don't do as I do because it's going to be totally crooked. It's going to be off center. Start with your center letter and then work your way outwards.
Hold up, I am on my way. I'm in motion. Let's go to the ocean. Yeah, let's go outside.
Here, I pulled the paint back out to fix the top of the star and the tree on the believe one. That was all I was going to fix because initially I wasn't going to go over the word joy and holly, but it started to drive me bananas. So here in just a little bit, you're going to see me pull the paint back out and I will fix those. I don't like them not being off-centered. So initially I was going to use some of that hemp to make the loops to hang these, but I changed my mind and I pulled out some red yarn that I had. I picked this up whenever I picked up the white yarn, and I will link some options down below for you. So I pulled the red yarn. I really like it because it's just, it like pops with that black and that white and then that pop of red. I really like the way it turned out. So I took the red yarn, I cut it, and I'm just making a loop. And again, we're going to tie this the same way that we've been tying this whole entire video, and that's like tying your shoes. Just make a knot, and then you can pull your string around to where you can't even see the knot.
In Christmas times. Oh, and the sunset, it is just getting better on a blanket with the skyline painted in blue. Ooh, yeah, that's what we do.
After doing the second coat on top of that star, I decided to go ahead and fix joy and holly. I couldn't take it anymore. But I know you're not going to have to do this step because you're going to listen to me and you're not even going to make that same exact mistake that I made because you're awesome. That did take me like 4 or 5 coats to completely cover up that black permanent marker, but once I got it covered up, I went back in with the marker. I started with the center letter and I did this the correct way, so everything is centered.
Here we go. All right. Now this Christmas, we're gonna dance. We're gonna dance, dance, dance. Come on. Dance. We're gonna dance, dance. Have a good time. Dance, dance. All night long, we're gonna dance, dance. And have a good time. I think Santa's gonna come and join us in this song. Doesn't matter if the snow is falling or the wind blows and the rain is pouring. It will always be Christmas in my heart.
And this is how the Christmas tree ornaments turned out. Again, I would do this next time with some stain and some white chalk paint. I think that those two colors would contrast really well, but I do love the way that these turned out. And that is the 4 DIY Christmas ornaments. I think these turned out so stinking cute. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments section. Which ones did you like? Would you do anything differently? And then also let me know if you like this kind of videos, and I will continue to make them because I love crafting. I love DIYing. I think it's super fun. Thank you so much for watching my video. I hope you have an incredible day, and I will see you in the next one.